one brilliant radiant sun. Now may our bonds of love increase, draw all together in one piece, till everyone one vision holds, as Spirit's wondrous plan unfolds, embracing all humanity, that all may now and ever be in fellowship and unity. This is the song of truth that we now sing in perfect harmony, in fellowship and unity. This is the song of truth that we now sing in perfect harmony, in fellowship and unity. Let it be so.
Good afternoon, friends of fellowship. It is so nice to be with you. I'm Deborah Goro, and we will be spending the next hour or so together. It's been a long time since I've been service leader, so be patient. And I got to say, it's really nice to be here with you today. The only thing is, you can see me. I can't see all your beautiful smiling faces, and I miss them so much, and I don't feel your loving energy pouring all over me. So if you can send a little through the ethers right now, I would love it. Anyway, I want to welcome you all to 2022, this new year. We just finished our first week, and I hope it was a week filled with blessings and unexpected delights for you. I love 2022. I love how it sounds. I love all the twos in it. And a few years ago, I took a class in numerology, and I thought this morning, well, I wonder what the number 2 really means. So I would like to share a little bit about what number 2 means in numerology. The number 2 is known to numerologists as a supremely feminine force, one that represents both grace and power. It is cooperative, always aiming to bring peace and balance back to a relationship or situation. I'm really excited for 2022. Let's hope that's what happens. So we're going to begin today with a meditation. So if you would, close your eyes, get comfy, wiggle around a little bit, and begin by taking 2 slow, deep, full breaths. And as you breathe in, feel your body relaxing. Feel the divine breath coming in you and feeling all your muscles and tension just leave with your exhalation. Sit quietly and let the light within you fill you. It alone has the power to give the gift of sight to you. Exclude the outer world and let your thoughts fly to the peace within. They know the way. You are as God created you, not what you made of yourself. Whatever evil you may think you did, you are as God created you. Whatever mistakes you made, the truth about you is unchanged. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. Light and joy and peace abide within you. In you is all of heaven. Every leaf that falls is given life in you. Each bird that ever sang will sing again in you. And every flower that ever bloomed has saved its perfume and its loveliness for you. Put all your faith in the love of God within you, eternal, changeless, and forever unfailing. This is the answer to whatever confronts you today. There is no time, no place, no state where God is absent. There is nothing to be feared. God is within you wherever you go. You are the light of the world. That is your only function, and that is why you are here. And ending with my favorite short prayer. Take me by the hand, Lord. Walk me through this day. Let every thought, word, and deed be always in thy way. And taking one last final deep breath, filling that small, still place with light and love, coming back into your body, and when you're ready, opening your eyes. I have a very short little reading. It's from Holly Holden, and it is, I feel the love of God within me now. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And now it's time for our first song.
Named after my mother, my old man is another. Child is grown old. If dreams were thunder, and lightning was desire, this old house would have burned down a long time ago. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. When I was younger, I had me a cowboy. Wasn't much to look at, just a free rambling man. But that was a long time, and no matter how I tried, the years just roll on by like a broken down dam. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. There's flies in the kitchen, I can hear all the buzzing, but I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. How can a person lines from Montgomery make me a poster on that old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in the slavery is just a hard way to go. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go.
Hello, and now it's time for tithes and offerings. And I want to take a moment to thank all of you for your generous donations, both in money and in time and in love. This has been a challenging couple of years, and we really appreciate all your donations so very much. So please take a moment and join with me in reading the blessing of the tithes and offerings. The light of divine love shines eternally, blessing and multiplying our tithes and offerings. I joyously give, knowing I always have enough to share and to spare. Thank you. And now it's my privilege and honor to introduce our wonderful Reverend Mary Sabaj, which I said your name wrong. And she always just fills my mind and heart with her wisdom and love. And what's so great about today is I get to hug her. And it's been a long time since I've hugged Mary. So I'll hug her twice, once for you and once for me. So please open your hearts, open your minds, and let all her wisdom just flow into you.
Hello everyone, welcome to our service this afternoon. It was so nice to see Deb Gora, wasn't it? And hear her voice and see her smile. That was just a real treat for us all. So this afternoon I would like to share some wisdom from Thich Nhat Hanh. He is just this gentle soul that embodies mindfulness and peace. And so I thought, here we are, still at the very beginning of this brand new year, and how perfect to take a look at some of his wisdom teachings to ground us and get us started as we begin to move through the year. I'd like to just tell you a little bit about him. Thich Nhat Hanh is so familiar to many of us. He's a global spiritual leader, a poet, and a peace activist. The author of 130 published books over his lifetime. He was born in Vietnam in 1926, and he says that he knew he wanted to be a Buddhist monk at the age of 7, and was actually ordained at the age of 16. And then in 1966, he left Vietnam to travel around Europe and to the United States to advocate for peace during the Vietnam War. He actually met with Martin Luther King Jr. a number of times, and they discussed together their views on peace and nonviolence. Martin Luther King nominated Thich Nhat Hanh for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1967, and it just so happened that that year, for some reason, the prize was not awarded, but he was nominated for it. But because of his just outward and firm, outspoken views against the war, the Vietnam government exiled him, and he remained exiled for 39 years from his homeland. He wanted to return to spend the rest of his remaining days in Hue, Vietnam, which is his root temple where he began his journey as a Buddhist monk. And in 2018, he did return to Vietnam. He's now 95 years old, and because of a stroke, he no longer speaks, and he's in a wheelchair, but he still participates in the community, in the Buddhist community there, and brings his wonderful, peaceful presence and loving presence to all of the events that they have. So who better to turn to as we begin this year following 2 years of such upheaval? Let's think about peace and balance in ourselves, in our hearts, and in our world. So the first teaching I would like to share is this. He says, loving kindness, understanding, and compassion are within us. We need only clear some of the rocks obstructing the way in order to reveal them. Last Sunday, we had our burning bowl ceremony, and that's exactly what this ceremony is all about. Identifying the rocks that are obstructing the way and clearing them out. What this conjures up in my mind is this scene. So here I am on the bank of this stream that we talk about so often at Fellowship, this unlimited flow of well-being and love. And I'm standing on the bank looking down into the stream, and I identify a rock that I believe can be pulled out of the stream to allow for more free-flowing love. And so I wade down into the stream and start pulling and pushing on this rock, or maybe it's a boulder, pushing and pulling, and the rock is wet and slippery, and perhaps a couple times my hands slip and I fall back into the water. And eventually I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm soaked, and so I get back up out of the stream and begin to head home thinking, I'm going to have to return to that and work on that some more. I'm going to have to come back to the stream and see if I can't get that rock out of the way. Now I'd like us to compare that scenario with this one. I immerse myself in the stream, remembering that I am one with this divine flow of well-being and love that is unlimited, flowing constantly. I am one with it, and I lose my human boundaries as I imagine being in this flow, this gentle flow, and I see a rock. I identify a rock. And from this place of connection and alignment with love, my intention goes to dissipating this rock, letting it dissolve into the stream. And it just happens. Maybe I just reach out and touch it, and it just dissolves into the stream easily and effortlessly. Because I first went to becoming one with the stream, remembering that I am one with this stream. Instead of standing on the bank and using my little ego self to struggle with this rock, I'm effortlessly and easily letting it dissolve. So when can we identify that need to return to that remembering? When you feel like you're struggling when you can identify that you're knotted up inside and you're working really hard to fix something, then we know that we're not working with love from love. We're working from our small ego selves. And that's always going to be hard and difficult, and we probably are not going to get the result that we want. So the message here is align first and clear out the rocks from that perspective and allow that flow, that divine loving flow, to just gently take us along into this stream. The second Thich Nhat Hanh teaching that I want to share is this: nourishing healthy seeds. So the idea of planting seeds and harvesting the manifestation of those seeds is not new to the fellowship. That's something very familiar to us. But Thich Nhat Hanh adds some nice teachings to that simple one. He says, consciousness exists on two levels: the seeds and the manifestation of these seeds. Every day, our thoughts, words, and deeds plant new seeds in the field of our consciousness. What these seeds generate become the substance of our lives. He also reminds us that every time we plant a new seed, it produces more new seeds of that same type, of that same kind. And so when we think about planting the seeds of anger, for example, that 5 minutes or 10 minutes or day that we might spend planting seeds of anger in our consciousness generate more and more seeds of anger in our consciousness. So it isn't just the one seed, and that's a wonderful thing to remember, an important thing to remember. And so he suggests, of course, always the practice of mindful living, mindfulness being awareness, consciousness, intention, of planting very healthy seeds and strengthening these healthy seeds that are already within us. So if we plant and nurture wholesome, healthy, healing, and harmonious seeds, he says they will take care of the negative seeds that are within without us even asking, without us even doing anything about it, because the healthy, harmonious, loving seeds will outnumber the negative seeds within. He also says that we need a reserve of these strong, healthy seeds within, a strong storehouse from which we can use when we are going through times of difficulty. So he gave this really beautiful example. He said that at one point he had just heard that day of the loss of a dear friend who had made his transition. And when he went to bed that night, Thich Nhat Hanh was finding it really difficult to get to sleep because he just couldn't get his mind off the loss and the sadness and sorrow of losing his dear friend. So this is what he did. He remembered that he had planted these 3 cedar trees years and years ago. He remembered as they grew, really becoming mindful of the journey of these trees, growing from seeds to these beautiful, full-grown trees. And he used to stop and hug them on his walking meditations. So they were very firmly planted in his consciousness. And so in this moment of being unable to sleep and unable to get his mind off this sadness and sorrow, this is what he did. He invited into his consciousness those 3 cedar trees. He brought them up into his awareness, and he began to breathe in and breathe out, paying attention to his breath, becoming the cedar trees, and breathing as the cedar trees. And he said it wasn't very long before he finally fell asleep, because he had focused his whole conscious awareness on these 3 beautiful trees that he had nurtured from seedlings. That's a really wonderful practice that we can remember. You know, when we're in a time of difficulty and our minds are just going like crazy and we can't seem to put that all on hold and you know, come back to some peace, we can invite into our consciousness something that we have planted, some seeds that we have planted earlier on in our lives, or maybe even yesterday, that we can focus on. We invite that into our consciousness and say, thank you for helping me bring my mind and heart back to peace. And the third teaching that I want to share is called mudita, which means joy. This is part of his Love Without Limits teaching. But I thought this was so appropriate for beginning our new year. He said, true love includes shared joy. And so the idea is that we enjoy each other's joy. When I see that you are happy, I am happy. And when you see me happy, you are happy. And so this practice becomes mindfully and easily sharing joy with each other, with others, and in our ability to stay mindful in that. There's no comparison. No looking at each other saying, you know, I'm inferior, I'm superior, I envy you, I'm jealous of what you have, what the state of being that you are in. We are just allowing ourselves to share in that other person's happiness and joy. And in doing that, it brings us happiness and joy. I love also that he says, sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, and sometimes your smile is the source of your joy. Thich Nhat Hanh uses smiling a lot in his teachings and in his meditation. I remember once a while back, our Richard Lassen did a talk and talked to us about all of the benefits of just smiling. So use your smile and share your joy and allow that to nurture and nourish you in this coming year of 2022. And I have one concluding thought of my own. I just want to invite us all this year to make a commitment, a conscious commitment to initiate and engage in and shift to, if necessary, conversations that are uplifting and healing and harmonious, so that our default way of thinking and way of talking to each other is not about what's wrong, but about what we are so grateful for. I think that's important this year because we've had a couple of years of spending an awful lot of time talking about what's wrong. So in conclusion, too, I want to thank Deborah Goro for her insight about the meaning of 2 in numerology, because here we are in 2022 and we have 3 2s. So I totally believe that we can expect abundant peace and balance. Thank you.
All right, here's a sing-along song. It's a song of our 3rd guiding principle, written, of course, by our marvelous and wonderful Lucille Olson. And I always think of this song as being sort of an alchemical formula or a recipe for how to manifest a better world. Our thoughts have power. Our words have power. The things we think and say create our state of mind. Imagination, what we envision, will tell the mastermind what we would like to find. We have the power. Our thoughts have power. Our words have power. The things we think and say create a state of mind. Imagination, what we envision, will tell the mastermind what we would like to find. We have the power, we have the wisdom, we have the senses that will help create the vision. Let's use our mind at full capacity to make our world a better place to be. Our thoughts have power, our words have power. The things we think and say create a state of mind. Imagination, what we envision, will tell the mastermind what we would like to find. We have the power, we have the wisdom, we have the senses that will help create the vision. Let's use our mind at full capacity to make our world a better place to be. Let's make this world a better place to be. We do have the power.
What a wonderful Sunday this has been. A wonderful message from Mary, and she did fill my heart and mind. And wonderful music. Thank you so much, Dangling Participles. Wonderful music. And Cory Williams for your butterfly fingers on the keys. And to everyone here participating. And thank you to all of you for being here with us. And I really look forward to the time when we can be together. And I'd like to share an affirmation with you. Affirmation for the day. Today I wake up with a smile and I will share joy. Isn't that beautiful? And now it's time for one of my favorite parts of the service is the peace circle. So imagine yourself getting up and joining hands with your beloved fellowship friends and singing the peace circle. Singing the peace song. and swaying back and forth. The words will be on the screen. And thank you again, and we will see you next Sunday. Blessings.